I rise with a heavy heart and on behalf of a stunned community to adjourn in memory of the four victims in the Fresno shooting rampage that began last Thursday night with the killing of Carl Williams, an unarmed security guard at Motel 6 in Fresno, and then came to a head on Tuesday morning in central Fresno with the killing of three more innocent victims: Zachary Randles, Mark Gassett, and David Martin Jackson. Carl Williams was a 25-year-old security guard who was shot and killed after an argument with a suspect who was visiting a woman at the Motel 6. Williams had worked for the last 2 years as a supervisor at Monument Security. Carl also worked as a manager at a local Toys R Us, having just been promoted to the position 2 weeks ago. He was working two jobs in the order to save enough money to purchase a home with his girlfriend. Carl has been described by his colleagues as a class act. The Williams family says the community lost a good man when Carl died, and his family is devastated by the loss. He was a resident of Clovis. I'd like to next talk about Zachary Randles, known as Zach. He was 34 and a father of a 3-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy, and they lived in Fresno. He was a loving husband of 8 years and adored his wife, Katie. Zach was on his first ride-along in his new position with PG&E when the tragedy occurred, a job he had just recently started and was excited to spend his first day outside of the classroom. Zach was a kind, funny, loving man whose charitable ways and good nature made him close to those that had the honor of knowing him. Mark Gassett was 37, the father of 2 children, and lived in Fresno. He was a graduate of Central High School, the same high school my wife attended. Although he had recently fallen on hard times, his friends and family say that they had recently been working with him to improve his lot and that he would give you the shirt off his back. That was just the kind of guy who he was. David Martin Jackson, 58, of Fresno, was gunned down outside the office of Catholic Charities. A tragic misfortune of being at the wrong place at the wrong time, waiting for the bus after doing a few errands with his friend and roommate. He was a veteran and described by his friends as generous, even with what little he had. He was preceded in death by his wife. The senseless loss of these 4 men have left my community, the close-knit community of Fresno County, searching for answers. This unimaginable act was carried out because the perpetrator fostered such hate in his heart and hid behind the pretense of religion. Many faith leaders came together to hold a vigil where they said instead of screaming at the darkness, we should be lighting a candle. It's reminiscent of the quote that hate will not drive out hate, only love will do that. My community knows that this act was an act of cowardice, and that we are better than this. The community of Fresno is a strong, working-class community, and we will come together and support the families of the victims of this unthinkable tragedy. Carl, Zach, Mark, and David live on in their spirits of the loved ones and those who knew them best. I ask that you put these 4 men and their families in your prayers, and that we adjourn in their memory.